Hellfest is directed by Gregory Plotkin and stars Amy Forsyth and special appearance by Tony Todd. And this is basically a story that deals with a type of like carnival or festival, Halloween themed festival that's like a traveling thing. And basically, if you've seen the trailers, it basically deals with a lot of teenagers that these group of
they go to a
teenagers
thing
they go to a thing called Hellfest where they are going there, having fun and everything. Basically, like a regular fair type of.
It's kind of like a fair slash carnival, but with pure Halloween theme.
Yeah, and basically when they go there, they discover that there's someone they've heard a legend about someone that was actually killed there, and they thought and the main girl believes that it's just an urban legend, and then it turns to find out, if you've seen the trailers, there's a killer that's in the carnival going around killing people for real instead of like all pretend basically.
And it basically pays homage to her kind of her 80s throwback, kind of low budgety but still fucking great 80s
slasher films. Yeah. And now here's some backstory. Now, from the trailers, because I actually heard about this when he showed me the trailer for it, I actually got really fucking curious about this because, first of all, the idea of them putting this in like a carnival, I love that concept.
I love Halloween theme, and I love the whole carnival concept, but the thing that really grabbed me was, was exact those things.
Yeah, but also...
What kind of worried me is because at first, when this coming out, I thought it was like, okay, I'll have to rent this, or I'm going to have to look for it.
Yeah, but
also enough, it got a nationwide release.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to go straight to video.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing that really questioned me was that Tony Todd was in this, and we haven't seen him in a movie in a long time, besides the Hatchet films.
What's funny is, the Hatchet films, other than that, the last time I literally remember him from was he was playing a voice at a damn carnival.
In Final Destination 3.
Destination 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's played in the later series, it's just that one was the most memorable.
Yeah, well, the last one I remember seeing Tony Todd in was the last Final Destination 5.
Yeah.
But also, this concept has been used before, I remember, from a movie from the 80s that Tobe Hooper did called The Funhouse. And so that's what it also got me curious, because that movie also dealt with teenagers getting killed off.
Funhouse, and then that the Dark Ride one.
Yeah, from the 8 Films to Die For movie.
Was really good. But there was only one thing that was kind of bothering me. I had a feeling. What's the chances of this movie being really good? 99 times out of 100, these movies are always bad. Oh, it's bad. We keep going to see movies like Truth or Dare and shit like that, and they just keep going bad. So it's like, okay, this movie's probably going to be bad.
Yeah. Now, and also, that's a hint, because he's going to watch Truth or Dare and do a written review on it.
Yeah. I'm just throwing out there.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
For the most part,
a lot of movies that we look forward to, these type of genres sometimes become let down. And boy, after seeing this one, we were fucking surprised.
Yeah.
This was, I was already excited to begin with, but this was fucking great. I really love this movie.
Yeah, it was a really good movie, and I highly recommend as a good collection. Like, I would buy this for a horror collection.
Yeah.
This movie did surprise me.
Yeah, this to me is one of the best like love letters to slasher films that we probably had in a while.
And
probably since the first Scream.
I do not want to compare these two films, because one of them I did not like and one of them I do like. However, because we got it last year, it's almost like they're close together, and it's about a person wearing kind of a mask, wear a hoodie. You remember Happy Death Day? I didn't like that film, so I saw this and I was like, it's going to be probably one of those. I was big surprised how good this film was.
Yeah, because this movie is basically a great love letter because of two slasher films in a good way. Because it basically, if this movie would have came out in probably the 80s or something, it would have really pushed a lot of those same tropes they use in there. But also, to get our pros out of the way, the cast I actually thought really surprised me. At first, when I was going along with it, I wasn't really like on keen with them at first.
Yeah.
But as the movie grew along, I actually really got into their characters because they're basically in on the joke. Basically, if you ever seen Scream, like how they kind of point out the cliches and stuff, these characters do that in this film, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, which I thought was a pretty cool thing, paying homage to Scream. When I first saw them come on screen, I was like, oh, here we go again, another typical teenager cast. We've seen this before, which you have. And then some of them, I was like, I'm probably going to be annoyed by them. And as the film kept going on, I was like, damn, I thought they did pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be like you see in every type of slasher film. They're there to do, they're there to drive the plot along, and they work perfectly fine. The other biggest praise I have is that this film does have some, my biggest praise I have the most is that the atmosphere alone really sold me. Like, I love this fucking carnival.
Yes,
I really do.
Yes, they really heavily promote this atmosphere, and some will probably complain and say that they feel like it drags. Because this atmosphere is promoted so heavy. I mean, it takes a while for shit to kick in. But because I was loving what I was seeing and all the, like, the themes in this film, it didn't bother me with the pacing. Like, I really enjoyed. I can see the complaints, though. I could see somebody come out and bitch about the pacing problem.
Yeah.
But that's just like, that's an individual problem. You might hate it, but because I was so entertained by the theme, the carnival, the fog, I mean, this is about the closest thing that has Halloween since Trick or Treat and Halloween itself.
Yeah, or that other one we saw, Tales from Halloween.
Tales from Halloween. Stuff like that. This film does that, and I'm really, really glad. Unfortunately, we had this movie come out in September, so it wouldn't compete with Halloween, which is going to make big budgets.
Yeah, big box office.
Yeah, box office. It's going to take all the money. Hence the reason why Overlord is coming out in November.
Yeah. So, but this is the perfect time to watch this because this is definitely the movie to go to for me as far as this type of theme that they're going on. But anyway, to get my other pros out of the way, going back to the cast, it was also great to see Tony Todd in this movie again too, because from the way the movie's kind of going, I just even though he's only on screen for just a few minutes, his voice is still heard throughout when they're going through the rooms.
He does the voiceovers of like the over the speakers, and the rides itself has a person voicing like, "Do you dare to go through this ride?" You have Tony Todd voicing all that.
It really makes me wonder if this is set in the same universe as Final Destination 3. Like, okay, is he the same fucking guy, like, or the morgue attendant?
But don't get too your hopes let down, because he does come in an actual appearance where he's playing like this, like kind of like they're at this like contest thing to scare people, and he's pretty much writing. He's like basically trying to scare the crowd and stuff. He's playing like some kind of like Phantom of the Opera looking guy. Yeah,
I think he's called like the Magician or something.
Yeah, because they're doing kind of like a little trick. And stuff. Another pro I like the progression of this park. You go off like your standard area where everybody's drinking, having fun. Yeah. Playing rides, just regular shit. Then you go to like a medium-sized park where you have to sign like waivers, and then there's some really up the ante type shit that they can do to you. Then you sign the big waiver where you go to the shit that you have to like sign, like you have to allow a lot of shit. Yeah, and you see the progression, and you want to see how scary this fucking this park really gets as farther. And
that to me I thought was very clever, because throughout the film you're seeing the killer pretty much trying to go stalking them throughout and trying to kill them and everything. Not going to spoil anything, but there is something very clever I'm glad that they did, to where you actually get reason how the killer can pretty much get them while they're at the park. Yeah, it really comes into play a lot, and I really fucking love that aspect.
Yeah, and it kind of mixes kind of makes you think of another film.
Yeah, well, there's another film I have a good comparison with, but only when it does that would be Halloween 4. Now, I'm not going to say which scene from that, but there's a scene right out of that I thought was pretty cool.
And it actually gives you kind of like, okay, then that gives you kind of like in a real life like in a real life situation, you would wonder why, this guy wearing only the suit, the mask and all that, they would catch him easy, and then something happens later in the film. Now you understand, okay, now they can't catch this guy easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Another thing I like was, I thought the jump scares worked really well in the film, and there was actually a couple scenes, and if you know me and my reviews on those paranormal jump scares, for the 90% of the time they don't do them right, and that's what pisses me off. But however, in this film, it actually got me quite a few times.
It did too, and also but also I thought that goes into play too, because the characters are in on it too, because they know where the scares are coming. They're like us in the audience. Mm-hmm. The characters in this film really represent us, like, saying, okay, where the fuck do we go? I know that's coming. I like how they point that out.
And not only that, I do like how they blend it well with the real jump scares of the guy coming out.
Yeah. Also, the killer in this, yes. I thought was very fascinating too, because he has like this he's having this kind of like, was it supposed to be Pop the Weasel or something?
Yeah,
or something like that. I don't
something
know.
Like that, or
but
some carousel.
This killer, I found very fascinating, because not only was he mysterious at times, but and creepy, but also, man, they get for what they allowed to show. He does some pretty brutal shit in this.
Yeah,
too.
See, I'll get to that here in a second, which he does. I do agree. I love the brutal shit. I also like how they portray him. You know how like we get a lot of those like, loud music, which they do sometimes when they jump out and stuff. But they do some parts kind of remind me of the original Halloween. Where he's just standing there. Yeah. Where he's like a statue, and then he's just like... And, I mean, this guy just is everywhere.
That's what I'm saying, and that really builds a lot of tension and moments.
And sometimes they won't even use the music to do that, and it's just like... That's why everybody praised the original Halloween for. This film does it for the most part, and I enjoyed that.
I did too. But it really worked.
Back to the brutality, which he is right. I love the brutality in this film. And however, there's something I'm going to mention my cons. I wish they would have. It's not really a con. It's more of I wish they would have done more of. I'll get that here in a little bit. But my worries going into this, I thought it was just going to be your stab fest. Just stab and just stab. The one thing that gets on my nerves more than anything is everybody dying the same exact way.
Yeah, that was my biggest worry, because I was like, well, because in common slashers, it's known that the killer just uses the same weapon over and over again. Yeah. There are a couple times where he does mix it up, and it is pretty fucking great.
It is pretty fucking gruesome.
Yeah.
And, but anyways, yeah. But probably the biggest praise, and I am so glad they didn't go to your cliche on this. The ending, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that ending was fucking phenomenal. I was like, great. Okay, now this is something I really didn't expect. And I really fucking enjoyed
and it
that.
also kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of gives like a symbolism of like, not just the ugly, deformed creature, typical friend that got fucked over, or killers. Like 99% of the movies do that.
Yeah.
Or like a friend that's fucked over. This one does something like even like the most, person could be somebody.
That's what I'm saying. The killer blends in this so well to the point that it could be it could be anybody. Yeah.
He can live in the richest, nicest suburbs. He can live in just like your average neighborhood, a good small town. It could be anything.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like, that's why I loved that right there. I was so glad they didn't go with the cliches of what they did with that.
Yeah, and so, but now if I had like really any minor cons, I would say that like he was saying, the kills were great. There are a couple times where, or at least, there is a couple times where they could have done a lot more with it, because it does start to feel a little bit standard.
Yeah, that is my complaint on that too. It's more of like it is a con, but at the same time, they could have done more. Like, you got, like I was bitching about the stab, everything being a stab, which they do a stab, which I expect at first, one or two, and then they do some really cool creative kills. But however, I think the MPA might have gave them approval to do them pretty gruesome shit. However, they couldn't do like every kill like that.
Yeah.
So we do get quite a few stabbings, even though there's some creative kills that happen throughout this film that are pretty fucking creative and gruesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And also, my other biggest thing is, and I kind of thought this would have been interesting too, is we could have also seen some, like, maybe put some other, like, booby traps or something the killer could have used, like, throughout the festival. But I was able to forget that, because the way they were going with it, I could still buy what was happening.
Yeah, this movie is actually one of those films that's not one of those films where these kids snuck into the park when it's closed. It's not like that.
They have VIP passes.
I would believe them doing booby traps. However, in this film, they're there when the whole town's there. So, like, while people are dying, there's like 100,000 people in this place.
Yeah.
Thousands of
That's what I'm
people.
saying. And
So everything's happening in like while everybody's just around having fun. So all the deaths are happening in the peak of like the population being there.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do the booby trap thing.
now they could have
Because
done the whole thing.
You come up with the continuity of like realistically somebody could have came in and ran and fucked it all up.
Now they could have done something to where now we won't go. We won't. This isn't really a spoiler, but it's something that they could have done like to add with it, like the killer's like role in it. There could have been something where they show like a body or something that's actually supposed to be fake, and they could have used it as a real body.
Yeah, kind of like something off of House of Wax, where he kills people and turns them into stock motion, like the statues and the wax statues and all that stuff. I was hoping that some of the props could have been actual real people. How it does in the backstory of the what happened like 2 years prior, they say he did that, which that kind of bothered me that he didn't even attempt to do that at all. In the movie.
I felt like that was kind of a cop out. With that. But overall, though, I mean, there's more going in detail, but we don't want to spoil anything. So I do highly recommend it. If this movie's still playing in your area, still get a chance to check this out. We're playing catch up on this because due to some personal issues, we couldn't go to the theater last week. So this is us coming back to catch up on one of the movies we were supposed to see last weekend. But due to some personal things, I was out of town, so I came back now. But overall, with that being said, because I really enjoyed this movie a lot, I'm going to give it a high compelling grade.
I agree with you. High compelling grade on Film Phreeks meter.
Fair enough. And for those of you who have also seen Hellfest, let us know in the comments below of what you thought about it. And if you like what we see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out some of our other reviews here on our website at filmphreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.